Om. This session, the subject is the real nature of the self. And if I were to pick one session which is most important in the whole, in all the talks that I'm going to give, this would be it. This is the central, this contains the core of the teaching, central part of the teaching. This answers the question, what am I? The teaching of Advaita Vedanta can be summarized very easily. In fact, the Mahavakyas, the so-called great sentences, Tat Tvamasi, they are well known, that thou art, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, I am Atma Brahma, this very self is Brahman, Prajnanam Brahma, this consciousness that we feel within, this is Brahman. All of them, they teach the same thing. The core of Advaita Vedanta is included, encapsulated in these great sentences. But for them to work, you have to start not with Brahman out there, but Brahman within. The inquiry has to start with what we are, into investigation into the self. Not an investigation into the world or investigation into God, investigation into what I am. The door to enlightenment lies in here, within. All the great techniques. All right, as we go on this session, we're going to do it somewhat differently. It's not just going to be informative, enlightening. It's not going to be something that is, you study it and you take notes and you learn something, and then afterwards you're supposed to go and do something. So if you read a book on yoga, say Hatha Yoga, it's no good unless you do Hatha Yoga. If you learn puja, it's no good unless you go out and do puja every day. So usually knowledge is meant for, you learn it, and then you have to put it into practice. Again, this is not the case with Advaita Vedanta. This is an important thing to learn. Shankaracharya spends page after page in his commentaries pointing out the difference between jnana and karma, knowledge and action. In Advaita Vedanta and Advaita Vedanta alone, knowledge is the point. Why is knowledge the point? Because if ignorance is the problem, the solution is knowledge. If I'm walking down a street, and the classic example of mistaking a rope for a snake, and and then I see a snake, but there really isn't a snake, it's just a rope. Then the solution is to see the rope as a rope. Will it work if I take a stick and try to chase the snake away? No. That snake is not going to go. Will it work if I start praying to God, oh God, take the snake away? No, it's not going to go. God is going to say, what snake? There isn't any snake for me to take away. If you take up a stick and scare away the snake, what's going to get scared? There's no snake to scare away. It's only knowledge that's going to work. And this knowledge is not a matter of practice. If you try to put Advaita Vedanta into practice, there is a problem at the very source itself. We haven't understood what Advaita Vedanta is. This is something that is discussed in the traditional teachings of Vedanta in the schools among monks in the Himalayas. See, there is a difference between the terms they use. One is called Sadhya Advaita and Siddha Advaita in Sanskrit. I'll explain. A non-duality that is to be achieved, and an ever accomplished, ever achieved non-duality. a non-duality that is to be achieved, and an accomplished, ever present, ever achieved non-duality. What does it mean? One is, all was one with Brahman before the creation of the universe. Then this universe was created, and we jivas were sent forth by Brahman according to our past karma from. You might ask, if the universe was not created, how can we exist, and how can we have past karmas? But remember, the Hindu view, cosmological view, is cyclical. We have existed in countless universes in the past, and we all have past karma. And so when a new universe is created, we are sent out again. As bodies evolve, we inhabit different living bodies. Jivas get different experiences according to our own past karmas. So, and we feel that, all right, when I become interested in spiritual life, before the creation of the universe, everything was one with God. And maybe after the universe is destroyed, after the final end of the universe, we'll all become one with God again. I was one with God, I am not one with God. It seems so obvious. Really, I'm not one with God. I don't see God anywhere. So I'm not one with God. But probably after some time, the dissolution of the universe, billions of years hence, maybe I'll be one with God. This is oneness which is to be achieved. Isn't there a faster way? Well, we'll be told that you meditate on God, pray to God, and by the grace of God and by your own efforts, and by the grace of God, one day you'll be one with God. There are devotional forms in Vaishnavism. There are forms of enlightenment, of freedom called Sayudhya Mukti. Freedom which is oneness with the Lord. You attain a kind of oneness with the Lord. But it is attainable. You are not one with God, but you can become one with God. That's not what Advaita Vedanta is about. If that was the non-duality we're talking about, then there were things to be done. There's meditation to be done, there is prayer to be done, there is a lot of spiritual practices which have to be done so that one will finally attain to oneness with one's beloved Lord. That is attainable, to be attained oneness, to be attained non-duality, not what Advaita Vedanta talks about. Often people mistake it. I am separate from God, I have to become one with God. Whatever that is, that's not Advaita. I am in a dualistic, people think that. I am now in dualism, in a dualistic universe, and after enlightenment it will be non-dual. No, not non-dualism, not Advaita. This is what is called, in Sanskrit, Sadhya Advaita. Sadhya means to be achieved, a goal to be achieved. If you have a goal to achieve, then you need a sadhana, a method. Sadhana means a practice, a method. You want to go there, so you need a car to go there. So the place you want to go to is the sadhya, the thing to be attained. And the way you take, the method you adopt is the sadhana, practice. When there is a non-duality, oneness to be achieved, then there will be practices to achieve it also. And it's quite obvious, there's something to be done, so there must be a way of doing it. And then you have to do it, and then you will get oneness. Not Advaita. This is not Advaita. Many people think that way. Advaita is radically different from this. Advaita is this. It is called Siddha Advaita, an ever accomplished non-duality. It's already there. It's right here, right now, and it is we ourselves. So if it's an already accomplished Advaita, what does Vedanta do? What's Vedanta about then? It's already done. So a Vedanta, they use the word Gyapakam. It tells us about it. It points it out. You don't see it. You don't recognize it. You don't notice it. You don't know it. All Vedanta has to do is tell us about it. Point it out to us. When we become enlightened, it won't be like, oh, I was a miserable jiva, a limited being, human being or some being, and suffering so much. Now, after all these spiritual practices, now I'm enlightened. I'm one with infinite existence, consciousness, bliss. No. It doesn't work that way. Advaita doesn't work that way. When you are enlightened, you will immediately feel, oh, I am Brahman, the infinite existence, consciousness, bliss, and I always was. I didn't become Brahman. I always was this. How come I never saw it? Swami Vivekananda has a talk, he calls it, it's called the open secret. It's a secret, but it's also an open secret. It's staring at our face. And we need to see it, recognize it. All Vedanta do is point it out. Therefore, when the pointing out is done by Vedanta, when the teaching is given by Vedanta, that itself is the practice. These are things, certain inner understanding I'm giving, which is not really, often not known, and people tend to misunderstand. So, don't misunderstand. I'm not speaking out against practices. All practices are useful. They have, look at the words, useful. You have something to be accomplished. Then you have things which are useful to you because they help you to accomplish it. But it's not to be accomplished, then what is useful to you? Nothing. So there are practices, we'll talk about that later. But when the pointers are given, they are themselves the practice. There is no other practice of Advaita other than that. What I'm leading up to is, why is this session important? This goes on until, let me see, until
2:45.
But he started late.
Okay, March, up to 3 o'clock.
No, I'm in the question answer.
So question and answer, we have half an hour. So actually 2:50, and then half an hour for Q&A.
After that, Q&A, yeah. Because the Q&A will be very important here. It's not just, again, questions for information. It's questions we'll have to work with. Each question, if it's really a question you're confronting reality with and you're asking a question about what you're experiencing, then that question will be a doorway to pointing out the reality. So we'll do that. So this session is important because here I will share with you the core pointing out techniques of Advaita Vedanta, where we not only learn, but we try to see for ourselves what Vedanta is talking about. That's what Vedanta is all about. How Vedanta works. Let me share the classic Indian story with you and show you how it works. This is the story of the 10 people who crossed the river. We have heard that, many of us have heard that. But I'm going to analyze it and match it to our spiritual life, how Vedanta works. The story itself is well known. 10 friends, they were going on a journey and they crossed a river, and after crossing the river, they thought, have we all crossed or did somebody drown? Let us count. And so one of them counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my God, the 10th person is drowned. The 10th person is dead. Our friend died. He's drowned. The others say, let me try. And they did try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're right. The 10th person is not there. Obviously, they were not counting themselves. And they sit down and they start crying until the passerby asks, why are you crying, my friends? Oh, sir, what a tragedy. Our friend drowned. How do you know your friend drowned? We were 10 people and we crossed and now we are 9 people. And of course, this man must have counted them all. He said, how do you know you're 9 people? We counted, sir. Then this man says, oh, don't worry. The 10th person is there. And they calm down enough to ask, where? We believe you. You seem to be a good man. But where's the 10th person? Wait, I'll show you. He asks one of them, count. I counted. Humor me, count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this man goes and takes him by the hand and turns it. Thou art the 10th. In Sanskrit, Dashamastvamasi. Thou art the 10th. 10. And this man goes, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, the 10th person is there. What joy, what wonderful. The 10th person is not drowned. The others say, let me try. And they also count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, the 10th person is there. And they are so happy. Alright. In one of the chapters in Panchadashi, 7 stages of spiritual journey, according to Advaita. according to non-dualism. 7 stages. Look at the 7 stages. First is ignorance. Ignorance, stage 1. You don't know that the 10th person is there. You don't know. The person does not know, that the one who is counting does not know of the existence of 10th person. Not knowing, ignorance. Then what happened next? Out of ignorance came error. The 10th person is dead. Can't find the 10th person, don't know? So 10th person is drowned. Error. 10th person is dead. Error. So stage 2, error. Stage 3, suffering, sorrow. They sit and wail and weep. Why? Because their friend drowned. Sorrow. That sorrow, another name for that is samsara. Samsara. Suffering. And then, when the wise person comes and teaches them, don't worry, there the 10th person is there. Where they don't know yet. Where they can't find, they have absolutely no idea. But they believe that person. That is called indirect knowledge. Paroksha jnana in Sanskrit, indirect knowledge. Indirect knowledge. I'll apply all this to our life. Wait, it's not about 10 people. Indirect knowledge. Stage 4. Stage 5 is when the person asked him to count and then turn the hand inwards. That intuitive realization, I am the 10th. That is called direct knowledge or direct realization. Aparoksha anubhuti, direct realization. Stage 5. Stage 6, immediately after the direct realization, what happens? The error that the 10th person is drowned goes. Removal of the error. Error dispelled. Error is lost. Error is dispelled. Brahmanasha or Adhyasanasha, that is dispelled. The error is dispelled. That is 6. And the 7th one is sorrow is gone. The sorrow is gone. 7th one, all that weeping and wailing disappears. There is no more cause for sorrow. Dukkhanasha. In Sanskrit, dukkhanasha. The removal of dukkha, the total eradication of suffering. You might also include there the dawning of joy or completion. Purnatva, completion. 7 stages. Stage 1, ignorance. We do not know of Brahman, Atman, that I am the infinite existence, consciousness, place. I do not know. Stage 1, ignorance. In Sanskrit, ajnana. Stage 2, tell me the name. Error. What is the error? I am body mind. I am. That cannot be dispelled. I know. I exist. I am. But what am I? I am body and mind. This psycho-physical entity. Body-mind complex. I am this one. Quite obviously. Not obviously. It's an error. Just like the 10th person drowned, this is an error. I am body-mind. I am this being. It's an error. Third, stage 3. Sorrow. I am unhappy. Why are you unhappy? Oh, because I need to lose weight. I am fat, or I'm poor, or nobody loves me, or I am a failure, or so many problems. My boss is mean to me. Relationship problems, financial problems, physical problems, mental problems, problems and problems. A sea of problems. Suffering. Samsara. In some places, Shankaracharya gives a vivid description. I'm God, and I'm going towards death. Poverty ails me, and sickness ails me, and my child disobeys me. So, third, samsara, suffering. Dukkha, suffering. Fourth, can you close the door? Yeah. That's done. Oh, that's done. He's closed the door. Not quite yet. The again opened it. So samsara is stage 3. Stage 4 comes. Stage 4 comes. Tell me, what's stage 4? Indirect knowledge. I read Vedanta, go to the Vedanta retreat, and I am told that I am not the body, not the mind, I am existence, consciousness, bliss, I am the witness, body and mind problems do not affect me. All of that. I read the books, I take courses, I meditate, I study, and I say, Swami, I have understood intellectually, but then what is to be done now? All those things. Even when I say, I understood intellectually. I got it, Swami, but now it went away again. Again, indirect knowledge. Indirect knowledge. From the texts, from the teachers, the knowledge that we get. I am Brahman, that knowledge. Like the teachers, that the person said, the 10th person is there, don't worry. The texts and the teachers tell us, don't worry, you are Brahman. You are that infinite existence. But we don't feel it, we don't know it yet. Stage 4. Stage 5? Direct knowledge. Aparokshanubhuti. When that man pointed it out. Showed him that the counting was done, and finally, thou art the 10th. 10. Direct knowledge. That is what Vedanta is supposed to do. It gives you indirect knowledge first. This is what is the reality. Don't know it yet, but now it has to be pointed out. That turning. That's what we're going to do now. So if you want to bail out, this is the time. This is the time when the game of life comes to an end. So that pointing out, that's the 5th stage. The direct, intuitive, first-person realization. Oh my God. Oh my God, I am God. That realization inside. So that's done by the pointing out instructions. The somebody's phone is on?
Yeah.
All right. So the pointing out instructions, that is the 5th stage. As a result of that, what will happen? Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, that realization comes. And then the 6th stage. Tell me the 6th stage? Removal of error. Then I am body and mind, I am subject to birth and death, and this error, I am body-mind complex. This error is removed forever. I know that I am not the body, not the mind. It's direct, not that I'm something I've read, something I've given intellectual assent to, but I see directly. And then 7th? Dukkha-nasha, the eradication of sorrow and attainment of bliss. Eradication of sorrow and attainment of bliss. Forever I realize I am beyond sorrow and I am complete. So the crucial stage is what? The 5th stage. That direct knowledge. That's where this comes in. Okay, what we're going to do now, it comes in there. All of the other are leading up to this, the direct knowledge. The pointers that we find in Advaita Vedanta, they all, they do this. They investigate into the nature of the self, into what am I. So for example, Taittiriya Upanishad, it says, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Brahman, the ultimate reality, is existence, consciousness, infinite. Infinite existence, consciousness is Brahman. But where is this infinite existence, consciousness? It says, Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Paramedyoman. The one who realizes that, this is the translation, one who realizes that in the sacred space of the heart, which is a poetic way of saying, I am that. Where is that Brahman? Here. I am that. One who realizes that. And then the result, So ashnute sarvan kaman saha brahmana vipaschiteti. That one attains the fulfillment of all desires by that knowledge of Brahman. See the results 6 and 7, stage 6 and 7. But that, how do you do that? And then the Taittiriya Upanishad goes through the process of Pancha Kosha Vichara, the method of the 5 sheets of the human personality. The Mandukya Upanishad goes through the method of avasthatraya vichara, the method of the three states of waking, dreaming and deep sleep. In Drigdrishya Viveka, that book we saw, the distinction between the discernment of the seer and the seen. All of these, discernment of seer and seen, Drigdrishya Viveka method. Panchakosha Vichara, the discernment of the Atman from the 5 sheets of the human personality. Avasthatraya Vichara, the discernment of the one witness of the waking, dreaming, deep sleep. All of them are meant to go and answer this question, who am I, what am I? They are all pointers. They are all pointers. So what I am going to do now is, I have extracted from all these techniques some pointers. And just by the way, if you are interested in knowing, is there any particular book I am using for this presentation, Shankaracharya's Aparoksha Anubhuti is a very nice text on Advaita Vedanta. Aparoksha Anubhuti of Shankaracharya. I am using that. And if you like to study the whole text, it's all available. I've given 44 talks on it. It's all available on YouTube, so you can hold the book onto the book and study it. But from there, I'm just taking many such pointers Shankaracharya has shared there. I'm going to take 5. I'm going to share it with you. These 5. What we are going to do is, as I share it with you, put it through 3 steps. The process to enlightenment has 3 steps. 3 steps. Step 1, the traditional, Advaitic, Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana, hearing, reflecting, and meditating, but do it this way, practically. Step 1, you have to ask yourself, what did he say? Can I repeat back to myself what he said? Step 1. If you can repeat back to yourself what was taught, what is the method, then you've completed step 1. Step 2. Do I understand it? Is it on? It's not.
No, when I changed.
Yes.
Now it's working. It's working now.
Now it's working. Now it's working.
No.
No?
It's fine. It's fine.
If you can't hear me,
It works. It works.
let me know. Okay. Step 2, you must ask yourself that do I get it? Stage 1. Do I, what was the teaching? Can I repeat the teaching? To myself, to my own satisfaction. In traditional Vedanta, they would make you memorize. That was the purpose of memorization of the entire text. The traditional Vedanta teachers, even now in the Himalayas, you find, who will not let you attend a class unless you can repeat verbatim what was taught in the last book, at least the original root texts. So, but to our own satisfaction, can I repeat back what was said? Often we'll be surprised, shocked. How much we are listening and how much we are adding to it. Yeah. Second is, do I understand it? Is it clear to me? Yes, intellectually clear. Is it clear to me what was said? Third question you should ask, is it a fact? Is it a fact? Is it real? Real means real to you, right now. Is it real? Do I see it? Is it real to me? That is. If you can say yes to all these 3, that I can repeat the teaching, yes, I understand it, yes, to myself I have got clarity, and for me it's a fact. I can see it as a fact. Then the pointer has worked. In fact, if you can seriously say it's a fact, you are enlightened. Yes. Or at least a genuine glimpse into our real nature. So, I will go through for each pointer, at least for 1 or 2 of them, we'll cycle through the 3 stages. And remember, as we go into the teaching itself, we...
What is that noise?
Can it die? That's okay. First stage is hearing. About hearing, I heard this nice teaching. The Tibetan Lamas, they undergo a long and arduous course of training And one Lama, I just saw in his book, it's written that the first time when our teaching started as young novice Lamas, the master Lama who came in told us how to listen. Or rather, he told us how not to listen. So how not to listen? 3 things. Don't listen like a leaky pot. Don't listen like an upside down pot. 1. Don't listen like a leaky pot. And don't listen like a dirty pot. These 3 are not to be done. No. Upside down pot, no. Leaky pot, no. Dirty pot, no. I think you understand what it means. Upside down pot means that whatever you pour into it, it rolls up the sides. Nothing accumulates there. It happens. Swami Ranganathan used to tell the story about when he was in Delhi. He gave a talk, one of his wonderful talks on Vedanta. Afterwards, when people were filing out, this lady, she was jovial sort. She sort of cheerily said to the Swami, "Oh, wonderful talk," in Hindi. "Wonderful talk, Swami." And the Swami asked, he shouldn't have asked, but he asked, "What did you like in it?" And she said, "Oh, what do I understand? All those big talk, the Vedantic talk." Upside down pot. Then there's the leaky pot. I heard it, but I forgot. I have to refer to my notes, or I have to listen to it on YouTube again. No, hold on to it. Hold on to it. Leaky, it shouldn't be a leaky pot. It's gone. After some time, it's gone. No. So hold on to it. And third is dirty pot. Dirty pot is I pour water into it, but because of the dirt already in the pot, well, whatever I pour into it, water, milk, or whatever, it gets white. It's unusable anymore. So I come with skepticism. I know all this is stupid, it's not real. I'm going to point out their mistakes. So, if I've made up my mind, then all the questions I'm asking, everything that I'm doing, is just for cutting down that. It's no good. You will not make a difference to the teacher, and you do not get anything out of it either. So that's a dirty pot. Don't listen like upside down pot, leaky pot, dirty pot. Okay. So let's go one by one. Let me take up the first pointer. The first pointer is five pointers. There are many more. The first pointer is Drishya. In English, seer and seen. Seer and seen. Seer and seen. What is this pointer? Remember, what do I mean by pointer? Remember that crucial moment when the hand was turned around. Thou art the tenth. When you intuitively grasp that. So these are that turning around of the hand, that crucial moment. So what is this pointer? It's a simple fact that what we experience, what we see is different from from the seer. So the seen and the seer are different. Two simple things. I am seeing this pen. Clearly my eyes and the pen are different from each other. Different means different entities, separate entities. This is separate from my eyes. In a very nice non-philosophical sense, in what is called a phenomenological sense, the way we are experiencing things. We are experiencing this as distinct from the eyes. Eye see, pen seen. Seer and seen? Same or different? Different. You're not very sure. Different, obviously. Just report a fact. I'll keep asking you to do that. Report a fact. What seems to be the fact to you? Are the eyes and the pen that you're seeing are? Different from each other, right? They're different. The seer and the seen are different. You see, this is a very powerful method because the whole structure of our experience of what? Experience of anything in life. Whatever we experience in life has the structure of subject and object. Isn't it true? You experiencing everything else. I experiencing you and this and that. Living beings, non-living beings, all things are object and I am the experiencer thereof. Subject, object, seer and seen, experiencer and experienced. And here we start with a fundamental difference that two are distinct entities. In fact, the only thing that the eyes cannot see are the eyes themselves. Notice, the limit of our vision is not out there. If you get a telescope, you can see further. The limit of the vision is not the size of the things. If you get a microscope, you can see smaller. But the limit of the vision are the eyes themselves. You can see, if you're wearing glasses, you can see up to the glasses, and then you can see the glasses themselves also. But you can't, the eyes cannot see themselves directly. You say, no, I can see it in a mirror reflected. There's a reflection of your eyes. And take a picture, you can see a picture of your eyes. But the way the eyes see this directly, the eyes cannot see themselves like that. Obviously, you cannot take the eye output, put it there, then what would see it? So, subject and object cannot be the same. Experience and an experience cannot be the same. The seer and the seen cannot be the same. Drishya. Which is so. Here's how it works. Try it for yourself. Here, now you need to, it's not only the teaching, but you need to see for yourself. Here is an object, a pen. Pen is seen. And the eyes are the seer. Stage 1. Eye seer, pen seen. This is the teaching. Right? This is the teaching. Ask yourself, okay, this is the teaching, I got it. Second stage, do I understand it? Yes. You would say, yeah, go on with it. You're dragging it out. Third stage, is it a fact?
Yes.
And I need you to be convinced. If this is not a fact, then I can't go any further. Then we differ on the definition of facts. Alternative facts. So, is it a fact?
Yes.
Would you normally consider it a fact?
Yes.
Yes, it's a fact. You know the teaching, you understand the teaching, and you consider it a fact. Stage 2. Your eyes are open. My eyes are now closed. Open eyes, close eyes. This is experienced by my mind. My mind is saying my eyes are open. My mind is noting the fact that my eyes are closed. Mind is the seer, eyes are the seen. Seeing now within quotes. Mind doesn't actually see. Mind experiences. Mind is the experiencer, the eyes are the experienced. Are you with me?
Yes.
So what's the teaching? The eyes are the experienced and the mind is the experiencer. The mind notes that my eyes are open, the mind notes my eyes are closed, the mind notes that I cannot see as clearly as I used to, that I need glasses. All these things my mind notes about my eyes. So now the eyes, which were the seer earlier, now they have become the seen, which were the subject earlier, in a very naive way. They are the object, and the mind is the subject. Understood?
Yes.
Note it for a fact. Open your eyes, close your eyes. This difference was noted by the mind. It was not noted by the eyes. Eyes closed, eyes open. This is something. Open eyes, closed eyes is something not seen by the eyes. It is something understood by the mind, cognized by the mind. It's a fact.
Yes.
Right. And now extended. Not just the eyes, ears and nose and tongue and the skin, all the 5 sensory organs. They dump their data on the mind, and the mind cognizes them. You see the synergy with what the Swami was saying earlier, how the mind collects the data and sorts it out and filters it out. So, but here only one thing we need to take. Mind is the seer and the senses are the seen now. The senses are no longer the seer. Senses are the objects themselves. We are experiencing the senses themselves. Mind is the seer. I understand the teaching and I know it to be a fact. It's a fact. Now the mind and the senses are different. Is it not so?
Yes.
Just as the eyes and the pen were different, similarly the mind, whatever it is, I can feel it, thoughts. And the senses, the eyes, nose, ear, skin, tongue, they are different from the mind, obviously. They are all different from each other and they are different from the mind. They are different sense organs. So the seer and the seen are different. Go further back. Stage 3 now, deeper level. Think the thought, close the eyes, now think a thought. My eyes are closed. It's a fact, right? My eyes are closed. And I'm thinking this thought, my eyes are closed. This thought is in the mind, my eyes are closed. But note now, not only am I aware that my eyes are closed, the thought that my eyes are closed, but I'm also aware of the thought, my eyes are closed. My eyes are open. Here my eyes open and my mind is thinking, my eyes are open. But that thought in the mind is also, I'm experiencing it. When a flash of pleasure comes in the mind, I experience it. I feel flash of pleasure. When a burst of unhappiness comes in the mind, I experience that unhappiness. So the contents of the mind, which are about the body. See, the content of the mind is, my eyes are open. That's the content of the mind, that's a thought. My eyes are open is a thought. It's not in the eyes, it's in the mind. But that content of the mind also I'm aware of. What is aware of the contents of the mind? What is aware of the mind? That must be the seer of the mind. That which is aware of the thoughts in the mind, that which is aware of the pleasure and pain in the mind, that which is aware of the functioning of the memory and not functioning of the memory in the mind, that must be the witness of the mind, the experiencer of the mind. The seer and the seen are different. So if there is, I am experiencing the mind, then I must be different from the mind. I must be different from the mind. Right? That I, which is different from the mind. Oh, we could only 5 minutes? So, that I, which is different from the mind, that is the witness consciousness. And that never becomes an object, it never becomes the seen, it never becomes an object. The seer, that's the ultimate seer, never becomes an object. This pen never becomes a seer, the subject. The eyes are the subject, the pen is the object. But the eyes which are the subject now themselves become the object. To whom? To the mind. The mind objectifies the eyes, mind is aware of the eyes. The mind, which is the subject, also becomes an object to the witnessing consciousness, to what you call Sakshi or Drashta, the seer or the witness, which you are, which I am. I experience the mind. And since the seer and seen must be different, I must be different from the mind. Try it as an experiment now. We'll go through the 4 stages. Stage 1, from physical object to the sense organs. Stage 2, from sense organs to the mind. Stage 3, from mind to the witness consciousness. Stage 4, the witness consciousness itself, which can never be objectified. So here is, do it practically. Look at the object in my hand. Object, your eyes are seeing it. Is this a fact?
Yes.
Yes.
Eyes are different from the object, fact?
Yes.
Close your eyes. And eyes are closed. I am aware that my eyes are closed. There's a thought in my mind. I am aware that the eyes are closed. So eyes are the object and my mind is the seer, the subject. Mind and eyes are different. Fact or theory? Fact. There's a thought in my mind, but my eyes are closed. It's a thought. I am aware of the thought also. Clearly, am I not aware of the thought? Well, I am. I don't know about you. You are aware of the thought in your mind. Oh, my eyes are closed. You're aware of that thought too. Not only are you aware of the closed eyes, you're aware of the thought also. And that awareness of the thought is different from the thought. Different thoughts come and go. Same awareness is aware of them all. That awareness never becomes an object. You can never objectify that awareness. That is your real nature as the self. That consciousness apart from the mind, which is the ultimate subject, which is the ultimate seer. Because the eyes are not the ultimate seer. Now, right now, the eyes are the seer, and when you think about the eyes become the seen and the mind becomes the seer. Mind is not the ultimate seer. When the mind is, when you are thinking and the thoughts, you're aware of the thoughts, then the mind becomes an object. But the seer of the mind is the ultimate seer, because that can never become the seen. That seer I am, is it a fact? I'll hold you to it. Be careful of claiming it too fast. If it's a fact, then notice the consequences. You are not the mind. Why? Mind is the seen. You are the seer. Seer and seen cannot be the same. Body is the seen. You are the seer. Body and the seer and seen cannot be the same. You are not the body, not the mind. You are the witness of body and mind. And you cannot be the body and mind. This is taking you from the apparent self. What was the apparent self? I am body mind. To I am the consciousness in which I experience body mind. This is pointer number 1. If you can hold on to it as a fact, you will see there is no problem in the world which can touch it. Think about it. We'll see from the Q&A. The other pointers, should we go into the other pointers? Because this Q&A is important. Alright, let me quickly mention the other pointers. Then pointer number 2 is the Chit Jara. Chit Jara. Can you see or you cannot see?
You can't see.
I can't see, it's too. Pointer number 2 is Chit Jara. I'll use the red one, green one.
We can't see anyway.
The light is reflecting.
No, the podium.
Podium. Anyway, I'm reading it out. There's nothing.
We'll look at it later.
Yeah, it's an object anyway. It's not. Chit Jara. Chit Jara means conscious or sentient, insentient. Conscious, not conscious. Consciousness, matter. That also is possible. Consciousness, matter. Conscious, non-conscious, sentient, insentient. Third one. Or we can say Nirvikara, conscious, not conscious. Savikara. Nirvikara, Savikara. Third pointer. Unchanging, changing. Unchanging, changing. I'll explain. Fourth pointer. Ekam, anekam. Fifth pointer is Ekam, anekam means one and many. Simple and complex. I will explain that. Simple and complex. Fourth pointer. And the fifth pointer is one more. Let's say this. The simple Sanskrit word would be antara, bahya. Inner and external. Internal and external. Or inner and outer. Inner and outer. Antara, bahya in Sanskrit. These are some of the pointers. There are many more are there in Vedanta. Let me show you how they work. The first one, Drigdrishya. You just saw that. Time's up. Yeah. No, we are going into Q&A now. So let's just quickly point out and then we'll see in Q&A. Chit Jara is consciousness, sentient and insentient. The two cannot be the same. Now, the pointer here is the body and mind which I consider to be myself. And I also consider myself to be sentient, aware. Do I not consider myself to be conscious? Is there anybody who considers himself or herself to be a zombie? We all feel awareness within ourselves. We all feel awareness. Right now we are feeling awareness. So we feel ourselves aware. And there are things which we are aware of. The one which is aware and the thing which you are aware of, the two cannot be the same. That which is aware, that which is not aware, the two cannot be the same. Now, I am aware, I am conscious. Is the body conscious? If you investigate, but it's very simple, it's not conscious. Greg Good, I got this from Greg Good, who is a psychologist a counselor working in New York, and he uses Vedanta for his counseling. He says this, simple exercise, to see that consciousness is on your side, not on the side of the body. He says, hold up your hand now. Look at your hand. Notice the experience of watching your own hand. Don't you feel that where is consciousness? I am conscious of the hand. Isn't it true? This is the nature of the experience. I am conscious of the hand. It's not that the hand is conscious of me. Hand doesn't say, hello there, Sarvapriyananda. It doesn't say that. I can say, hello hand. But hand doesn't say, hello Sarvapriyananda. It doesn't feel. the nature is I am feeling, I am aware of, I am feeling, I am seeing my hand. On which side is consciousness? On this side, not on that side. You say, so, what is, you can put the hand down. What is true of one hand is also true of the other hand. It's also true of the legs and the tummy and the chest and the head. All the parts of the body I am conscious of. They are not conscious of me, the person. Therefore, consciousness is on my side, not on the side of the parts of the body. And the body is nothing but the conglomeration of its parts. So I am conscious of the body. Consciousness is on my side and not on the side of the body. This is somewhat related to the seer and the seen. Do you see? But this is not seer and seen. This is consciousness and not consciousness. Sentience and with consciousness and matter. So the body is not conscious. I am conscious. That which is conscious and that which is not conscious, how can they be the same? Then how can I be the body? Even more amazing, the mind itself. The mind itself. We all think the mind is conscious. If anything is conscious. See, in modern consciousness studies in the West, no distinction is made between mind and consciousness. It's always mind consciousness together. Mind itself, if you apply this, it's so elegant. The mind itself is not conscious. How? Simple demonstration. Think a thought, ABCD. Just think mentally, ABCD. Now I'm asking you the question. Were you aware of the ABCD in your mind, or is ABCD aware of you? See, you're laughing. You think it's such a silly question. It's so obvious. Thoughts in the mind, feelings, thoughts, emotions, memory, they are not conscious of me. I am conscious of them. Consciousness is on my side, whatever I am. Consciousness is on my side. They're not on the side of the thoughts. So mind is not conscious. I am conscious of the mind. That which is not conscious and that which is conscious, how can the two be the same? The conscious self and the non-conscious mind, the two are not the same. So I am neither the body nor the mind. I am the consciousness which is the experiencer of body and mind. This is pointer number 2. At that point you need to ask, so I am the consciousness and the body is not conscious, an object of consciousness, fact or this theory? If you can, not in, see, most people they say, yeah, it's a fact. You are intellectually assenting to the fact. No, I want you to see it as a fact as you see this hand as a, you're not intellectually assenting to the fact that it's a hand. You're experiencing a hand. You're experiencing a body. In the same way, can you honestly say, I'm experiencing myself as the witness consciousness different from mind and body? You have to say that. The other three are very simple. Nirvikara, Savikara means Nirvikara, unchanging. Savikara, changing. Body continuously changing. I am the experiencer of the baby body, teenage body, young person's body, middle-aged person's body, senior person's body. Mind changes even more. From the morning till now, how many times? Happy and miserable and irritated and peaceful and curious and bored and eager and tired. How many times? In one day till now. Mind continuously changing. And I am the experiencer of the changing mind. Nirvikara, Savikara. That I, the unchanging and the changing mind. Unchanging and changing, how can they be the same thing? How can the same thing be changing and unchanging at the same time? So I cannot be the mind because it's changing and I am unchanging. Ekam anekam. Very simple. I always regard myself as a single, as a unit. Think about it. Even the persons with multiple personality disorder, I heard that they are usually one person at a time. Nobody here regards himself or herself as a committee. We think of ourselves as one. It's a very interesting thing. Consciousness is always unitive, identical to itself, one. And the body is a conglomeration of so many things. So many parts, organs and tissues and cells. Mind is a conglomeration of so many parts. We're just talking about the parts of the mind. There's the intellect and the ego and the mind itself and the memory. That which is multiple and complex and conglomeration, and that is which is single unit. How can they be the same? Then I cannot be the body mind, which is complex, and I am the simple single. And anekam, antara bahya. It's very simple. It's rather a very cute pointer. Notice, with regard to the body and mind, where would you place yourself? Unless you're having out-of-body experiences. But generally, we tend to place ourselves inner. Well, I'm somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Mind also feels outer to me, an experience. and I am inner. It's like the cloth I'm wearing, it's like the body, and the shirt I'm wearing inside is like the mind. Both are exterior to me, and I feel I'm inner to them. That which is inner and that which is exterior cannot be the same. In Sanskrit, again, another word is pratyak parak. Always the Atman is called pratyagatma, the inner self. And we identify with that. We feel we are the innermost here. So that which is outer is like a shell to me. The body is like a shell to me. The mind is also like a shell to me. A very subtle, complex, powerful shell, but it's still a shell. I am the indweller. Ask the question, remember, the questions are, usually the questions are useful for everybody. So don't wait like, I have to wait for my question. I'm not listening to what else is going on. No, these questions at this level of Advaita Vedanta, at this level, these questions anybody comes across are useful for everybody. And often, the answers might work for somebody who's listening carefully and not so much for the person who's asking. The person who's asking is sometimes tense and... Yeah. So listen to the questions and listen to the answers too. Yeah.
When you ask, please put it next to your mouth, close to your mouth, and increase the volume at that time. Go ahead.
All right, please ask.
Pranam Swami. My question is that you told us that we are not the body and you made us experience it. But we always feel, like most of the time, we feel very conscious of the body. We feel the pain. We feel that we are it. Same with the mind. It feels like it's me. Why?
Wait one moment.
All right.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
The question is, can you hear me now? Now nobody
A
can.
little bit higher, David.
Little higher, yeah. So the question is that you made us feel conscious of the body, that I'm conscious of it. But I'm always, like she says that I'm always conscious of it. And it's there, and I feel the pain, and I feel I am it. And the same is true of the mind. Now, attend carefully. Listen to the language. What did you say? I am conscious of it. I am aware of the body. Who is the one aware of the body? Are you saying the body is aware of the body, or you are aware of the body? You are aware of the body. This you, which is aware of the body, is it the body? Are you the body? Look at the structure of the question. I am aware of the body. I am aware of the cloth. I am aware of the mic. I am aware of the body. Grammatically, the same type of sentence. These are objects. This body is also an object. The way you are phrasing it automatically implies that you are not the body. And I can understand what's going on in your mind now. Say, no, but I feel the pain of the body. If you hit the microphone, I don't feel the pain of the microphone, if there's any such thing. But I feel the pain of the body. I know. Here is the answer. It's a subtle point, but if you get it, it's a great boon in your life. In Upadesha Sahasri, a book written by Shankaracharya, which means 1,000 teachings. When Shankaracharya gives these pointers, the student asks a question to Shankaracharya. You know what's the question? But I feel the pain of the body. But it hurts. I'm not the body, but it hurts. If it hurts, let me ask, yes?
When I touch myself, I feel touched. Right? So it is very close. It feels...
It's close. Is it identical with you? If it was identical with you, you couldn't have said, I feel it. The answer is this. Just as you can see this as an object, clearly it's an object. You can see the body as an object. The answer is that touch, that pain, it's an experience. It's an experience.
Yes.
Can you see it as an object?
Yes. Yeah.
If you can see it as an object, it's not you. You open up a distance between yourself and the pain. You open up a distance between yourself and the pain. If you open up a distance between yourself and the pain becomes a thing. Pain becomes a thing. If the pain is a thing, then you will say, I experience pain. Vedanta never denies experience. Vedanta never denies experience. But put the experience where it belongs. The pain belongs in the body. The pain even belongs in the mind. I am the experiencer of body and mind. And whatever is in the body and mind. Like a light shining on it. What was happening earlier was, I am the body, it hurts, I hurt. That was happening. Can you watch it now? Watch the pain. It's not that when we say that I am not the body, so I shouldn't feel pain. No. Vedanta is not an anesthetic. Vedanta is not an anesthetic. What is an anesthetic? It wipes out the experience of the world. The good and the bad, the pleasure and the pain is wiped out. It interferes with your ability to experience. That's an anesthetic. Vedanta does not do that at all. Everything in the world will be experienced as it is. So what good is that? Oh, all the good is there. The whole problem is not with experience. The problem is with our understanding of experience. That it is mine, it is me, and it's a great problem. If I am the witness consciousness, ever untouched, let the pain come and go like a dark cloud in the sky. Sky is not touched thereby. Has the consciousness become a little less because it hurt? Pain came and pain went. Has the consciousness become less? No. One day even the memory of that pain will also go away. You're the same consciousness. That's what is meant by nirvikara, savikara, the third pointer. You are the one unchanging experiencer. See, one teacher put it very beautifully. Vedanta does not wipe out the experience of the universe. I'll repeat it. Vedanta does not wipe out the experience of the universe. Vedanta makes you absolutely, there's no English equivalent to it. I'll tell you I'll try and then give you the Hindi for those who can understand. Vedanta makes you absolutely limitless, fearless, absolutely free in experience. In Hindi, those who can understand, the original teaching was, Vedanta pratiti ko mitata nahi hai. Vedanta does not wipe out the experience, the appearance of the universe. Vedanta aapko vyavahar mein nirbad banata hai. Vedanta, vyavahar means in this transactional reality, the experience reality. Vedanta makes you fearless, limitless, absolutely at ease. That's a good way. Absolutely at ease in experience. Because you are not touched by it. Can you consider? Alright, let me give you another example. Again, don't be too eager. My question, no. If you can understand the answer to even one, this is a good question. It's enough. It will solve other questions also. See, this example I came across recently. It will show what is happening right now. Suppose in the old movies, there would be a black and white movie and no sound, which Charlie Chaplin never referred to. Then they introduced sound, it became more realistic. Then they introduced color. Now there are big screens with color and sound. Very realistic. One gets absorbed and carried away in movies. You forget you're sitting in your chair in a darkened hall and watching the movie. Now imagine, I heard in Disney or somewhere, they have introduced a chair, vibration in the chair. If the car is moving, your chair also will move. More real. Motion has been introduced. Imagine further, and some hall I read, they have, when there's a flower and the hero is smelling a flower, a little squirt of fragrance will come in your chair and you can smell it. Now imagine all the senses. It's quite possible with modern virtual reality, or maybe in a few years' time, you can see, hear, smell, taste, touch, whatever the hero is doing in the movie. How absorbed you will become in the movie. Next, imagine, the thoughts of the hero are your thoughts. You're directly experiencing the thoughts. The memories of the hero are your memories. The desires and the fears and the anxieties of the hero are yours. You'll become so much absorbed in that, you'll forget at all there's somebody else, there's a hall and you're sitting there. Totally you'll forget. There's no sensation coming from there anymore. Suppose it's possible. That's exactly what has happened to us now. This mind sensory system has put up such a 5-dimensional movie for us. And the inner software, the mind with its memories and all, has put up the inner environment so strongly for us. Consciousness, who is the one who is separate, who is the watcher? Consciousness is completely trapped in it, forgotten. And yet it is never one with it. At any time it has the chance to let go. Step back, walk out of the hall, or step back into the chair and watch the movie without being affected by it at all.
Then what is the point of identification? How do we get identified? What is that?
Now, what is the point of identification, or how do we get identified? Suppose you ask, how do you get? That's a good question. How do we get identified? I've already told you the answer. Do you remember stage 1 of the 7 stages in the story? Ignorance. Avidya, ajnana, ignorance. Not knowing that you are this witness consciousness. That not being clear to you, inevitably you get identified with body and mind. What is the second stage? Error. What is error? Identification. My 10th friend is dead. Identification with body and mind. Not knowing my real nature, the next thing is I will get identified with whatever is presented to consciousness. Looking into an old Swami gave this example. Looking continuously into the microscope and the tiny things in the petri dish, after some time the scientist has forgotten that I exist apart from the microscope. So that becomes the whole world. That there is a microscope and there is a person beyond the microscope, forgotten that. Suppose that happens. It's like that. What it means is, all you need to do is use any of these pointers to become aware of yourself as the consciousness. Start appreciating the fact more and more. Start dwelling in that idea. Just settle down in that idea. You begin to see it's a fact. There's really nothing that has to be done. Think about it. Can you ask the question? Watch the time for the Q&A.
Around 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. Don't worry about too many questions. We'll just ask the question and we'll see. We'll dwell in the...
Hariom Swami.
Yes.
Devadatta, hi.
Hariom Swamiji.
Yes.
So, as per, initially we were Brahman, then we take all this form, then finally we lost because of the 7 points. Then we again seeking that merge to the Brahman again. So, why is that, where it's exactly initially started? So, it means that if I am a Brahman, why I am getting to this cycle of again and again?
All right. I've got the question.
Repeat the question, Maharaj.
Yes, I'll repeat the question. Initially we were Brahman, then we got caught in this body and mind, and then we are trying to separate ourselves and see ourselves as Brahman. There should be at least a few people saying,
You were never not Brahman.
No, you're ignorant of the fact that you were not Brahman.
initially we were Brahman. Now, have I told you at the very beginning? Initially I was Brahman, and now I am this, and once, maybe when the universe is destroyed or when I attain realization, this is called Sadhya Advaita, the non-duality to be achieved. No. Suppose you say, initially I was a watcher of the movie. When did I become the villain of the movie? You are still watching the movie. You are not the hero, the comedian, or the villain in the movie. You are still watching. You are none of them. You are enjoying all of them even now, just that you are not aware of your independent status as the watcher. By the way, all this that we did here, and all that I am telling you, none of it is true. I am having you on. None of it is true. Shankaracharya, in the Aparoksha Anubhuti, you will see, after detailed descriptions, about 20 classes will go on in these pointers and descriptions at struggle. And then the 41st verse he will say, did you take all this seriously? None of it is true. And he says, no good comes of it also. This is not non-duality. If this is, so look at this, duality. Drik Drishya. Seer and seen, Chit Jada. Duality. Changing, unchanging. It's total duality. This is duality. Yes. For the non-duality, you have to wait for the next session. But then the next question is asked, why did you do this? Why did you waste our time? Oh, no, not wasting your time. First, you have to disidentify from this error that I am the body-mind. Then this consciousness which you have disidentified from the body-mind, which is object seen, which is non-conscious, which is changing, which is complex, which is external. You have disidentified from that. I am the witness of this. Now, what am I? I am definitely consciousness, otherwise I wouldn't be experiencing all this. So I am the witness, untainted, unchanged consciousness. Next, you have to show that this consciousness is non-dual. There is really nothing apart from it. So everything that you set aside will again be reabsorbed back into you. But the whole approach will be different. So, but this part is important. Without this, you cannot go on to non-duality. That's why Sankhya is important for Advaita. Without accomplishing what Sankhya and Yoga does, without that Advaita is impossible. You can't have a bodily Advaita. You can't have a mental Advaita. Okay, so I'll go on. How much? 5 minutes?
I know, 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
5 minutes. Yes.
Okay, let's hear the questions at least. Yes, we'll come to you.
Namaste Swamiji. So my question is how can we use Advaita to develop detachment to like people, like friends, family, everything? Because I feel like attachment is our biggest cause of pain and sorrow and everything.
I've listened to your question very carefully. Did you see what words you use? How do I use Advaita?
Yeah. Anesthesia.
Why detachment? Really Advaita, when it will come. When the real Advaita will come. You say not detachment, just the opposite. Complete oneness. But not just with friends and family. With those who are not your friends, not your family, those which you know, you do not know, the good and the bad and the ugly, with everything, they are all one with you. That will come. That will be non-duality. But again, use. Advaita is not meant for use. It's meant for realization. The moment you say use, I have something to accomplish. If there is non-duality, what is there to accomplish? Your friends and your family are not separate from you. The problem is not that I am attached to my friends and family. The problem is I am attached to only my friends and family, they different from others. This is samsara. All are my own, spiritual. They are my own and they are not my own, not spiritual. Let's hear the questions quickly.
Yeah,
You ask, yes.
if a person finds the 10th person,
Yes.
after that, can he forget it? And what is the prescription constantly to remember that he has found the 10th person?
Okay, the 10th person story after this insight, can you forget it? Once it is stabilized, it can never go away. Coming and going are at the level of the mind. Coming and going are not at the level of the Atman. The Atman is ever present. When you think I've forgotten it, the very thought itself will show you the ever present Atman. It's like, what can I say? The unchanging light. Things come and go in the objects come and go in the light, but the presence and absence of objects is revealed by the same light. Once you have understood that light, there's nothing more there's no fear at all.
Who understands that light?
We'll come to it. So here, you're getting on board with the question. You have a question? We don't have time really, right, for questions? We can hold on till the evening session?
Hold on.
We can hold on till the evening session. Hold on to your questions, don't forget.